Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso is just... Oh, I feel like I should have gone back and done single reviews for this series because I've been watching it since week 1, but I was just going to have it as a show which I just watch because I enjoy it so much. But this show just... A1 Pictures are doing absolutely godly things with this source material. Basically, this is going to be the show which is going to completely destroy me this season, to put it loosely. The feels in the show are absolutely outstanding. The art style and just the whole round music of this show is perfect, because if you didn't know, Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, I'll just not call it by its English name because it's easier. You'll Lie in April is what it translates to. It's basically a show about classical music, basically. Our two main characters are Kaori, who's a violinist, and Kause, who's a pianist. And through some circumstances, they end up teaming up together to perform. But there's a lot of backstory. Like Kause, he used to be like a prodigy, and he lost the ability to play per se because his mother died, and he was basically like a genius when he was a kid. And now this season basically follows these two when they're 14 in middle school, and there's just, this show is like unbelievable. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about episode 5 after that short little rundown, but I'd say go back if you haven't started watching this season. Go and watch it. I'd highly recommend it. If it wasn't for Fate Stay Night, this would be my #1 for this season. Let's put it that way. It's that good of a show. So to say straight away, if we're jumping off the back of episode 4, we were left with one hell of a cliffhanger. We basically see Kaori collapse at the end of the episode after an amazing performance between the two of them as like their first duet. And to start this episode off, I was like coming straight into it, expecting heavy feels, but what they did was absolutely amazing. We see a flashback of Kause, Tsubaki, and I can't remember the other dude's name, the footballer. I think it's like Rauki or something along those lines. But we see basically an event from their childhood where they're basically doing like a confidence sort of thing. They're basically just jumping off this little bridge into a river, which is just like a little overpass that you see. But obviously the way that Kause is, he's very like timid and shy, so Tsubaki basically just pushes him over, and it's all really nice. And she's like saying, I'm going to change your life, I'm going to change the way you look at the world. And it's just really nice and sweet way to start this episode, because on like the heavy note it left off, we come in and it's very uplifting. And this episode, from a standpoint, is probably the best episode that this show has had so far this season, and there wasn't any music in it, and that's the best thing about this show. Straight away, I'm just going to tell you, I gave this like episode a solid 10 out of 10. Just the absolute use of like symbolism in it is absolutely amazing, because what they do a lot in this show particular is they keep relating to colours and shines, and blinding light is like being happy and being in love, obviously, and then the downer times where things are a little bit murky and a little bit cloudy and a little bit unsure, there's a lot of greys and it's very muted. And it just, the way it's coming across in this episode works really well, because of this fact we see that Kaori collapsing in the last episode. There's a lot of conflicting emotions around this, because Kause, he basically likes her, but he's not sure about his feelings. At the same time, Kaori basically likes the football dude, which is Kausuke's friend. So there's a lot of conflicting, like, it's very much like a double triangle. Well, not really a double triangle. Like, Tsubaki basically likes Kause. That's like a fact. Even though she wants to play it off as like just a childhood, she's the older sister sort of thing, it's not like that. And then obviously Kause's just never been interested in that, because he's always been brought up like his piano is his #1 thing, and now since he's lost that, he's very reserved and inside himself. But this girl's come along, and she's basically Kaori, she's basically changed his entire outlook on the world. And just the way this episode ended up transpiring is she ends up getting out the hospital. But because of the performance and the fact that a lot of things went down in the performance, as we seen last week, he just feels very reluctant to even talk to her, because he feels like he's let her down, but she's not even going at him, like telling him, you did this, you did that, you should have tried harder or whatever, because she's just happy she put on an amazing performance, because let's face it, their performance was utterly amazing, even though he doesn't think so and he still can't play, he still hasn't got that confidence. And that's what I feel like his character's going to find at some point. He's going to find some confidence. But Kaori's hitting some major flags for me. Like, there's one point that we see at the flashback at the end of their performance from last week. She's stood there and she's happy and she's saying she won't forget this moment even if she dies. And obviously she faints, and then in the hospital scene later on we see her say that she's just anemic. It doesn't happen, she never faints. But then we see come back a bit later on when she's on her own and she says, oh, I fainted again. So she's definitely got some sort of illness which is going to play a fact later down the line. Hopefully it's not serious, or as I said, these feels are going to absolutely kill me, because the way this show is doing everything so far, it's goddamn perfect, and I just don't think I can handle it. It's gonna utterly kill me if this goes down wrong. But it might be just one of those facts of they're gonna like get to a final or something and then something bad will happen to her, but then she'll recover just enough to play. But we'll just have to see how it goes, because the way this show just does everything is outstanding, and I'd highly recommend it. Just this episode was just all the colours and the way the dialogue and everything, like I can't even describe like the quality of some of the moments in this episode. It was just utterly mind-blowing and gorgeous. Like, I have a still frame on the other side of the screen, that's why I keep looking over here. It's just really interesting. As well as that, a couple other things come up. Like, we see a bit more of Tsubaki's backstory. We see two of her friends, one of her old friends who's a year older, I believe, and he's now graduated in high school, which is the baseball captain, because she plays on the baseball team. And we see that he basically ends up confessing to her, but she doesn't feel that way at all, because as I said before, she clearly has feelings for Kause, but she seems very unsure about what to do about that, because to everyone else, this old baseball captain, he used to be like the pinnacle of the males in the school, and she just wasn't into that. She very much likes Kause. So it's just words. The show's gonna go some places, and it's gonna be utterly just this show, man. I just really hope it doesn't have a tragic ending, because they will work. The way this show is written, it's just gorgeous. But anyway, if you haven't started watching Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, I'd highly recommend it. It's basically my #1 show if Fate's Day Night wasn't a thing. So it's my second favourite show this season. It's just it's just in a world of its own. So please let me know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. What do you think is going to happen next? Because let's face it, the way this show's going, there's a high chance it's going to have a tragic end. But I believe it's 24 episodes, so we've still got a long way to go. I can't wait to see if Kause actually goes into a piano competition, because basically that's what Kaori was asking for. So we'll just have to see what happens. Anyway guys, I've been Harry. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe and all that great stuff, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.